you have to do what's best for you in a business sense, and also what's best for you in a life sense, in a mental health sense. And so it can be really discouraging seeing the direction that things are going. But this is why I think it's really important to utilize any platform that there is out there to be able to speak out against it and to educate. Just
Absolutely.
Educate as much as possible. People need to open up their eyes to what's happening. I think that my clients deserve to understand why things have become so expensive. It's not me that's doing this to them, because
Right.
a lot of the people that are, subject to the unhappiness that these clients experience, it's us, it's the staff, it's the people who aren't in control of the changes that are being made. It's not us that you need to be angry with. It's the big guys, and it's okay to be angry with the big guys, and I think you should be vocal about it.
I do think that, in a sense, well, for me, my philosophy that makes sense in my head is that everyone should have their basic necessities met as a successful society to function, right? And as that American dream, quote unquote, is continuing to deteriorate for a lot of people, whether you're an immigrant, whether your parents were immigrants, whether you were born here, so many things are being funneled essentially to the 1%. When you bring up COVID, it was just very crystal clear that, hey, all the people that got relief were these big corporations. They got billions of dollars in relief, and we just got like small $2,000 checks, and that was from our tax dollars that we paid. And it's the veterinary space, it's the healthcare space, it's so many different areas, military, oil and gas. It's just our society is continuing to crumble in so many areas because of these top dog beneficiaries who just want to see their bankroll continue. And at some point, when you put that sort of capitalization in healthcare, especially for humans, but also for animals, it gives you a distance between the humanity behind what you're actually doing. Because, okay, maybe your hospital profited, or maybe your veterinary practice profited, but at what point did you cut corners? How many lives were lost as a result of you cutting corners to make profit? And that's something that I continuously think about, that how are there these successful models in Europe, for example, or East Asian countries where everybody's able to get healthcare readily available and do well and have a long lifespan? And then you look at the US, our lifespans are decreasing. And COVID is an amazing example of when everybody was locked up, everybody was sick, everybody lost their jobs, who did they look out for? The big guys at top. So even with the field of veterinary, you know what I'm trying to say, even in that field, it's the big guys that are being looked out for.
Yep. And I think that is what American capitalist society has modeled, is that at the end of the day, the 1% always wins, because this is how our specific model of capitalism has been set to work. This is our societal standard. And so by living in the US, you are playing into that standard, whether you like it or not. I think it's also important to kind of bring light to the fact that all of this might sound discouraging. It is discouraging by design. The big guns don't want to see you take risks. Their biggest threat to the integrity of their business models is other businesses taking risks to go up against them. And this might be taken as an idealist way to kind of look at things, a very objective idealist way to be like, well, you just have to stand up to them. Me alone, standing up to them is not going to do anything. But the more we are able to convince other up-and-coming, career-driven folk to take a chance and to take calculated risks. At the end of the day, a calculated risk is a risk. But take that risk and see where it gets you. The more that we are able to kind of hold up a hand to these large corporations to let them know that they're not infallible. We can do better.
I
We can do better.
do like how you were able to identify that the system, it's working by design to work in the favor of the 1%, but you still want to encourage people to work within the design as best as you can to, break out of it as best as you can, because even for me, it's very easy to look at all the negatives in our society, but I always try to have a positive outlook similar to you that, you know what, if I'm not trying to get out of this system, out of this cycle, then, there's no hope. And me alone, I'm not going to be able to shift that narrative that, give up hope, the corporations control everything, might as well just carry on with my life and, respect and suck up to the big man at the end of the day, which that's how the rebellion that is going on in America right now, it just feels that it's continuing to grow. And like Palestine, Israel, for example, it's a one rebellion, but you're also seeing continuous rebellion with, healthcare. There's, a strong Medicare for all movement. You're seeing that movement with people going in the streets for climate change. So I think as we continue to organize and continue to realize that, hey, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're on team blue, team red, we're on the same team actually. And by design, the 1% wants us to be divided.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, if you're going to play the game, know the game, study the game, and play it well. And I think we should all be playing the game because we live in it. We live in it. If you shop at Target, if you spend money in this society in any way, shape, or form, at a gas station, at a bodega, you're playing the game. If you're spending money in this society, you're playing the game. So you might as well study it. And, of course, there's going to be a lot of luck that's involved, but there's a difference between a gamble and there's a difference between, reading the cards. So I say we all read the cards and go with that.
And just to bring back the example of what's happening in Palestine, I think, a great example is how much money Starbucks is losing, for example. Because some people may say, oh, what is me refraining from Starbucks really going to do? But then you see that they're losing 2%, and shareholders see that because of how the system is designed. When you see a drop in your profits or a drop in your revenue, then your business essentially loses value, and that puts pressure on them. So I guess in a way, I'm saying we because we have to come together, have to find a way to go against the grain for our standard for healthcare, not just for humans, but for animals. Find that way of how are we going to attack the big man here from controlling everything, from making all the decisions in terms of profits and not healthcare. Because the way it's set up right now, it's not working. It's not working for 99% of people, and they continue to make money based on people getting sick, not based on people having better health outcomes. So I know I might be going on a tangent here, but I think it all goes back to if you're seeing a problem, a societal problem, whether it's healthcare, whether it's homelessness. In Chicago, you see homeless people all the time, and it's like, well, why is this a problem? And it's by design that we have the resources, we have the ability to fix these problems. It's just a policy choice, and it's very, very unfortunate. But I do appreciate you not losing hope, not saying that this is just how it is, and encouraging, I think the audience as well will really benefit from hearing that message.
Yeah, for sure. Can't lose hope out here.